In the year 2000, The Simpsons aired an episode called The Computer Wore Menace Shoes. Homer sets up a crude website under the alias Mr. X, publishing classified information and wild internet rumors. As his website gains traction, he hits a nerve. Homer is abruptly kidnapped and wakes up in a bizarre, highly secured location known simply as the Island. Homer finds himself trapped in a high-security detention center for those who know too much, where he struggles to find a way to expose the facility's secrets to the world. For nearly 2 decades, audiences watched that episode as an absurd, paranoid comedy plot. Then the real world caught up, and that cartoon premise suddenly felt far too close to reality. Years later, global headlines broke the story of Jeffrey Epstein and his private island. The sheer scale of the hidden network and the profile of the people involved shocked the public. Almost immediately, internet sleuths pulled up the old year 2000 episode. Message boards flooded with side-by-side comparisons, arguing that Homer's digital crusade and subsequent kidnapping was a deliberate broadcast to millions. The theory caught fire when public reporting connected series creator Matt Groening's name to Epstein's orbit. This leaves us with an uncomfortable question. Are the people behind this animated sitcom complicit insiders broadcasting hidden truths? Or are we simply taking a 20-year-old cartoon and forcing it to fit the anxieties of modern horrors? To understand how this phenomenon works, we have to look at the show's actual track record. And the first thing we find is that some of these prophecies are entirely fabricated. Take the 1993 episode featuring the Osaka flu. During the 2020 pandemic, an image circulated online showing a news anchor from that episode with the words coronavirus clearly visible. But that text was photoshopped over the original broadcast by internet trolls to manufacture a fake hit. We naturally crave patterns, especially during chaotic events. That desire makes it incredibly easy for manipulated images to spread, convincing us someone had foresight where none actually existed. Once we filter out the hoaxes, we are left with the genuine, eerie hits. And to explain those, we need the law of large numbers. This is a statistical principle stating that if you run an experiment enough times, eventually the highly improbable will happen. The Simpsons has been running for over 30 years. In 1993, the writers featured a flamboyant Springfield magician duo getting attacked by their white tiger. 10 years later, a tiger violently attacked Roy Horn of Secret and Roy during their Las Vegas act. Looking back, the parallel feels uncomfortably precise. Then there are the hits rooted entirely in mathematics. In a 1998 episode, Homer briefly stands in front of a chalkboard covered in a complex, seemingly random equation. For 14 years, it was just background art. But in 2012, scientists officially discovered the Higgs boson particle. When physicists checked Homer's math, the mass he calculated on that cartoon chalkboard closely matched the real thing. Or consider the 2010 episode, where a child's betting pool casually lists the name Bengt Holmstrom. 6 years later, that exact MIT professor won the Nobel Prize in economics. The show's legacy of accuracy stems from a writing room packed with Harvard graduates, mathematicians, and science majors. When highly educated experts make hundreds of educated guesses over 3 decades, the statistics guarantee a few direct hits. The other mechanism driving these hits is a writing technique called satirical mirroring. The creators take the absurdities of current society and stretch them out to their most extreme, ridiculous endpoints. In 1998, they included a quick visual gag showing 20th Century Fox as a division of Walt Disney. At the time, it was a sharp jab at the greed of corporate monopolies. Then, in 2019, Disney literally bought Fox. This is the exact same logic behind the famous year 2000 episode, where Lisa Simpson becomes president and mentions inheriting a massive economic crisis from President Trump. Donald Trump wasn't a politician then. The writers were looking at America's growing obsession with celebrity culture and asked themselves what the most absurd political outcome could possibly be. 16 years later, the culture matched the punchline. Good social satire isolates the darkest trajectories of the present moment. The writers aren't looking into a crystal ball. They are simply identifying where the culture is already heading and waiting for reality to arrive. Which brings us back to the year 2000, Homer's website, and the mysterious island. When we apply these principles of probability and satirical mirroring, a clearer picture emerges. The writers were responding to the chaotic growth of the early 2000s web. They were critiquing the rise of digital conspiracy boards, the erosion of personal privacy, and the archetype of untouchable elites hiding from the public eye. The fact that reality eventually produced a very real, horrific island for the elite is a chilling coincidence. But it's our modern anxiety and our deep need to make sense of dark events that forces us to connect the two. The Simpsons cannot see the future, yet a comedy from 1989 has accurately mapped out corporate mergers, scientific milestones, and the darkest secrets of the powerful, simply by paying incredibly close attention to the world around it. It operates as a societal warning system. The signs of tomorrow's reality are already surrounding us. We just have to be observant enough to see them.